I set an instance method in a controller method. For how long is its value going to be retained? Read, think. Initial vote. I've arbitrarily decided you've had long enough to think. Was I right? Take 30 seconds to discuss it. I was only partially right. OK. All right, let's vote a second time. Second vote. Second vote. Hold them up. OK, wide convergence on red. Wide convergence on red. Let's go through these one at a time. So if I set an instance variable in a controller method, all right, that's the key phrasing there, instance variable in a controller method. And your tip-off here is the controller is really just the receiving end of an HTTP request, and HTTP is stateless. We're going to keep coming back to this over and over. So once the controller method has done its work, what is the controller? The controller is an instance of an object, right? It's an instance of the controller object that handles an incoming HTTP request. So as soon as that controller object has finished doing its job, that instance of the controller evaporates, along with all of the instance variables. So instance variables, use once, they're gone. Once you've consumed them in the view, you can say goodbye to them forever. Now, there are special cases, like the flash in the session, where there's a reason to persist some information from one request to another, which is why those things have a separate abstraction, like the flash in the session. Only this request and the next request, that would be true if you put something into the flash, which, again, looks like a hash, quacks like a hash, but it persists one request after the current one. And if you put it in the session, it would indeed stick around for all subsequent requests, as long as you didn't make your session so bloated that it doesn't fit in a cookie. So red is correct. And for the blue one, if you voted blue, I would say you're in 169 now, no more Java. In fact, I'm not even sure this statement makes sense in Java. There's no declarations, there's no static, and if there were, they'd be class variables, not instance variables. So I just tried to see how many different keywords I could put in there to make it not make sense. Every time you hit your application with a new HTTP request, each incoming new request causes a new instance of the controller object to be created. And just as with any type of object, whenever an instance of an object is blown away, all of the instance variables associated with that instance are also blown away. That is exactly the explanation.